Practice 1 and Practice 2 for the Bahrain Grand Prix in 2024 was complete. Here is my reaction going through the times and what a Bahrain Practice 1 and Practice 2 we had. Alright guys, what's happening? My name is Grim. Welcome back to the channel. Before I get to this quick video, quickly guys, link down below. Follow the Instagram, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before we announce something very soon. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Guys, Bahrain Grand Prix Practice 1 and Practice 2 has been complete. And I'm going to give my intake and insights of what I think is going to happen going into Practice 3 and qualifying. It's very interesting. Now, straight off the bat, we all need to talk about Mercedes topping Practice 2. Like, that is freaking crazy now. Are Mercedes really up there? We don't know until qualifying pretty much. But are we going to see a Hamilton versus Verstappen Part 2? I don't know. We all low-key want to see it. George Russell's in the mix. Perez looks like he's struggling, like I said. Ferrari are somewhat there. Oh my God, Practice 2 made it go crazy. But anyway, before we get into Practice 2, let's talk about Practice 1. Now, in Practice 1, Daniel Ricciardo topped the time sheets with a 132.869. Second was Lando Norris with a 132.901. And third, Oscar Piastri with a 133.113. Now, they all had the softest compound of tyre. And the major teams were running the medium compound. So that's why they didn't really compete. Straight off the bat, in Practice 1, Max looked the quickest. I feel like it had the best package. It did look like RB were quicker than McLaren at this point in time. We don't know what's happening with Aston at this point in time. It was very confusing. But to me, the pecking order looked like Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston, RB, McLaren. That was what the pecking order looked like. And then at the back of the field, as we expected Haas with Kevin Magnussen actually beating Nico Hülkenberg. Now, Gasly and Ocon were struggling in their Alpine. They aren't the slowest. They will be competing with Haas, though, going into qualifying. I feel like Logan Sargent off the timesheets compared to his teammate Alexander Albon, who finished in 13th, Logan Sargent in 16th. And Sauber, especially Zhou, had problems with the car all session long, so it wasn't the greatest session for Sauber themselves. Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso confirmed they were still running a major test since preseason testing. That's why they couldn't get a great time in, with Lance Stroll down in P14 and Alonso putting his car up to P5, but they were, like I said, running preseason testing schedules during Practice 1. So that was very interesting with the Aston Martin, see what they've done with that. Listen, were the RBs quicker than McLaren? We don't know. I'm so keen for qualifying. We don't know what's going to happen. But anyway, went to Practice 2 after all that, guys. And Practice 2 came along. And the 7-time Formula 1 World Champion Lewis Hamilton did top the time sheets with a 130.374. Now, all these drivers were on the soft compound. They were doing qualifying runs, qualifying tests. And it was 1-2 for Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton beating George Russell, with Fernando Alonso, sneaky Fernando, putting his Aston Martin in P3. Carlos Sainz was P4, 5th Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris actually struggled a lot. He did make a massive mistake. He ended up P20, so he did make a mistake on his run. It was confirmed by Zach Brown during the during the Practice 2 coverage. Zhou and Valtteri Bottas, that stake looks slow. Alpine looks slow. Haas maybe can make a top 10 with Nico Hülkenberg. That guy on one lap pace is very quick. Magnussen doing pretty well to be in 14th. Ricciardo was in a low P12 considering. I thought he'd be higher with the RB. Listen, we don't know what's going to happen. We did have Bottas and Zhou on the medium compound tyre, though. It's very interesting to see. I think that Alpine could be the slowest car going into this qualifying session. We don't know. Either Alpine or Haas. So it's going to be very interesting. I do feel like Nico Hülkenberg will beat Magnussen, which is unfortunate for me because I am a massive Kevin Magnussen fan. Also, Max Verstappen was complaining a lot that the car does not feel the same. He finished in P6 with his qualifying runs in Practice 2. So the question does pop up, are Mercedes back in the championship fight? Do I personally think so? No. Now, I do feel like Max Verstappen might have a couple of challenges going into Bahrain, but in a long season stint, I think that Red Bull and Max Verstappen will end up winning the championship. Do I hope we get a championship battle into 2024? Yes. Would I love to see Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton versus George Russell? Yes. Now, Lewis Hamilton showing his experience, showing why he's a 7-time world champion, beating George Russell in that Practice 2. I'm excited to see what happens in qualifying in Bahrain. First, we have Practice 3, so get ready for that too. We're going to see some of the pace. Now, I do think that we're going to see possibly Max Verstappen actually beat Mercedes in Practice 2 due to the fact of the weather. It's going to be during the day, but then come qualifying, I don't know where that Red Bull's going to be, man. Sergio Perez was in the low P10, like I said. Max Verstappen a P6. Lance Stroll done pretty well to be in P8, considering Alonso was P3. Charles Leclerc at a low P9 and Carlos Sainz P4. So looking at comparisons to different teams, like I said, I feel like Carlos could have a really good year. He's driving for himself this year, as Martin Brundle stated. Do I think he's going to beat Charles this year? Yes. Let's see what happens. Anyway, that was practice 1 and practice 2. We have a very, very interesting session coming up in practice 3. And then, of course, qualifying will give us all the answers we need. Listen, at the end of the day, Max Verstappen and Red Bull could turn it around and we can have a Max Verstappen P1, 500ths of a second clear of everyone else going into qualifying. I am hoping that Max does not get pole, but we see him fight for the championship with another team, possibly Mercedes, possibly Ferrari, possibly McLaren. I don't know, Aston. I'm not too sure. But anyway, it's going to be very interesting to see. Is Alonso in the championship? After we thought Red Bull was so far ahead, we now have Mercedes 1 and 2 after the qualifying simulations. Now, do Red Bull have pace in hand? Apparently, that's the rumor going around. They still have a lot of pace in hand. Did Mercedes bump up the engine to complete maximum? We don't know. But anyway, we're going to have to wait and see what happens going into qualifying tonight. Now, guys, that was practice 1 and practice 2. That's my crazy thoughts about that. It was very, very interesting. I can't wait to see what happens. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're going to try and hit 1,000 subscribers. Also, link down below. Follow me on Instagram for Instagram short videos and stuff like that. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, like I said, like the video. And I'll see you guys after practice 3 to do a review and a qualifying prediction for the 2024 Bahrain Grand Prix.